The caregiver is feeding his employer, but he keeps staring at the sexy secretary.
Hey.
This unreliable caregiver often forgets that his employer is a high-level quadriplegic. When the phone rings, he just casually hands it over to him. Sorry, I forgot again. But this caregiver, who seemed so unreliable, ended up completely saving Philip, who had lost all hope in life. One day, Philip was interviewing caregivers. These people were professional caregivers, and if he hired any of them, they would take great care of him, but none of them satisfied him. That's when a black man walked in. He threw a document on the desk, hoping the employer would sign it. Once he collected 3 signatures, he could get unemployment benefits. Philip was curious and asked him, "Don't you have any ambitions?" He gave the secretary a flirtatious wink. "This is it," he said. Driss' sense of humor immediately made Philip laugh. Philip took a liking to the young man and asked him to come back the next day. After spending 6 months in prison, Driss returned home only to face his mother's rejection, who kicked him out. Driss looked at the fast-moving city streets outside, not knowing where his life should go next. The next day, Driss came back to Philip's house to pick up a document, only to find that Philip wanted to hire him as a caregiver. Without thinking, Driss refused. However, when he saw the room the butler had prepared for him, which had a bathtub he'd always dreamed of, he changed his mind. So he stayed. But Driss had no experience in caregiving at all. He tried to get by with the job. He managed to help Philip put on socks, but refused to wipe his butt. Though he was unreliable, Philip wasn't angry. One day, as they were about to go out, Driss ignored the nearby nanny car, pulled off the Maserati cover, and revved the engine, enjoying the sound. He pressed the gas pedal and spun the car around. However, a neighbor's car blocked their way. Clearly, the neighbor often parked there. Driss immediately got out and approached the car owner. He dragged him to the no parking sign and warned him to never park there again. Despite appearing unreliable, Driss solved another problem for him. One of Philip's friends, concerned for him, decided to check Driss' background. He discovered that Driss had stolen things and was in prison for 6 months. He believed someone like that couldn't take care of Philip, but what he didn't know was that Philip was drawn to Driss' qualities. After Philip became paralyzed, everyone kept reminding him that he was disabled. But Driss never treated him like that. He treated him like a person. That night, Driss heard strange sounds from the monitor. He rushed over and found Philip struggling to breathe. Driss quickly placed a wet towel on his face. Under Driss' care, Philip started to stabilize. But soon after, he had another episode. Driss put him in the wheelchair and pushed him outside. On the street at 4 a.m., they casually admired the beautiful women walking by. But suddenly, Philip had another attack. Driss put a cigarette in his mouth to calm him down. At the restaurant, Driss' humor made Philip laugh out loud. This was the first time Philip had laughed so freely since his paralysis. At that moment, they didn't feel like employer and employee, but like 2 old friends who had known each other for years.